As I stepped into the ballot box last year, I found myself asking a question that you may have asked before too. Who are these people? Why are they running? On this show, I hope to answer those questions for you and for me. I'm going to be covering only local politics. Why only local? Because national politics is broken and I can't fix that. But maybe I can make a difference here in Greene County. I'm Levi Kirby, and this is Man Without a Party. First things first, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. And so first question is just, tell me about yourself, who you are, and then why you're running for state representative.
That's a very good question. So I'm Bob Fudge. I'm running for state representative because I feel like my life of service from my 25 years in the Air Force to serving as the mayor, this is a logical next step to service. Certainly not doing it for the fame and the glory and the money. My background, like I was saying, I grew up mostly in Oregon. At 18, nobody in my family had ever gone to college before, so I enlisted in the Air Force. I say I'll go see the world, because I was a very rural part of Oregon. So joined, enlisted as an E1 and did 4 years, and they offered me a little money to stay in, so I did. I'll do 4 more. And then by that time it was 8. I said, well, I'm almost halfway through. So I went in the evenings, I went to school while I was enlisted. Made it all the way to Master Sergeant, which is an E7. I finished my degree in government and politics. And my wife said, wait, why don't you apply to become an officer? So I said, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. So I applied. I was accepted into officer training school. On the enlisted side, I loaded bombs and missiles on planes, all the fighters. And then as an officer, I worked as an aircraft maintenance officer on the B-2 stealth bomber, AWACS, F-22s, F-15s. So spent 25 years in the Air Force. Like I was saying, at Marquette University, I taught for 3 years. While I was there, I finished my law degree. Went to law school as a hobby, like I said. And then when the Air Force wanted to send me to Korea. We have 3 daughters, and I didn't want to be away from them for a year by myself, so I decided to retire. Got a job offer to come here to the Dayton area. We chose Cedarville as our home. A year after moving there, I decided to run for city council or village council. I was elected 1 term on council and then two terms as the mayor of Cedarville. I also served on the Greene County Community Improvement Corporation, Greene County Children's Services Board. So I've really kind of been involved with the community since moving here 18 years ago.
So my first question is, given the fact that a vast majority of the housing that's available in the country is older, and there aren't as many newer homes being built, and that when they are being built, when newer homes are being built, developers are incentivized to build more expensive homes so that they can make the most profit from their time, especially since there aren't many housing plots available, right? So given that, we've seen a huge increase in the price of the average first home, and the lower middle class and below being priced out of the housing market. So do you think there is any role for the state government in trying to incentivize developers to build more affordable housing units?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that I have a solid answer for it, because I tend to be more a free market person, if there is a market for lower priced homes, builders will build them. And I think we can get there by getting people the education and training they need to get good jobs and to be able to afford those types of homes near, for example, the battery plant out in Jeffersonville. There's going to be a need for housing, and people won't be able to buy the $300,000 house that's built there. But I would suspect that if there are 500 new middle class folks who get jobs out in Jeffersonville that are going to be looking for homes, builders are going to build those homes to suit their needs because they'll sell them. So it may not be the $300,000 profit on the large profit on each of those large homes, but if you can do it at capacity, if you can build 500 homes and make profit on each of those, you can make some more money. There maybe there are some tax incentives that we can provide for those types of builders in locations that are, I would say, underutilized. If there are, I would look at that. That's a potential way that we could encourage private industry to build those houses is by offering incentives for them to build that. But you also have to counter that with, that loss of potential tax revenue could impact either local governments or the school districts. So something we have to look at. I don't have a great answer, but that's how I would approach it.
So here's one for you. I'm trying to think of the representative's name. It slips me. But he's the representative from Lebanon, I can tell you that. He has proposed to eliminate the state income tax in Ohio. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, and also Brian Lampton, who's in Greene County, he's one of the co-sponsors of that bill. I'm absolutely for it. In a considered, measured way, I certainly not going to say, okay, next year we're not having income tax, because there has to be there should be requisite spending cuts and or other sources of revenue that fill the gaps from the loss of income tax. I think not having an income tax is going to be very good for our economy. We compete with other states that don't have an income tax. People think about, where do I either want to start a business, grow a business, move a business, or move to myself to work based upon how much money we want to be able to keep in our pockets. So yes, absolutely support getting rid of the income tax.
Okay, and so then you said, and you said this in your response, you said you need to find, either requisite cuts or additional streams of revenue.
Yeah, I
so
prefer
it's about
cuts.
$8 billion. So do you have any ideas on what kind of other streams of revenue you might want to suggest?
I would first want to look at cuts. That's a lot of money. It sounds like a lot of money, but I'm sure there's a good portion of that we could probably figure out where that money is not being spent wisely in our state budget. I don't know what that is yet until I get in, but I guarantee, as a federal defense contractor, I see lots of taxpayer money that is not spent wisely, and I'm sure we can find that on the state level as well.
Okay, all right. So, given how the state of the last speakership ended, it did not end well.
Right.
Obviously, finding the next speaker, finding a person of character and integrity really matters. Do you have a preferred candidate? I think it's down to two, kind of.
Yeah. So the current state of the speaker race, we have one speaker. It's Jason Stevens, who sided with some Republicans and some Democrats to gain speakership of the House. I have no problem working with. There are 99 representatives in the House. We are all there charged with representing the state of Ohio. I'll work with anybody that whether they have a D or an R or I, whatever they have on their lapel pin. I'll work with any of them. And I think one of the things that gets lost in this is that Derek Marin, who the Republican caucus, voted for and supported, he actually sided with several Democrats to get Larry Householder as the speaker. So people forget that this political power play is not a new thing, either at the state level or the national level. I've met with Jason Stevens, who's the current Speaker of the House. I like him. He seems like a common sense Republican, is what he likes to call himself. I consider myself a common sense Republican. So we'll see who actually runs when I get in there. But I like the current Speaker of the House, and having said that, I make no commitments to who I'm going to vote for. But that's I like where we are right now.
So obviously, this is going to vary depending on where you look, what source you look at. But education. Everywhere that I was reading when I was researching this issue said that Ohio was falling somewhere in the lower 20s to kind of mid 30s in terms of where we're ranking nationally for education. Is there something that the state government can be doing to improve education in Ohio? Or do you think that should be left up to the municipalities to decide how education dollars are spent?
Yeah, so I really believe we should leave it up to the state, or to the, not to the state, but to the local boards of elections. I think part of the reason we're doing so poorly is the fact that we're trying to peanut butter spread it, so cookie cutter education at both the national and the state levels. We're getting away from actually teaching children, actually educating children, because we put so much emphasis on test scores and teaching the tests, and that's what the teachers are rated on, and the school districts are rated on. They all get a report card at the end, and it's all about on how well their students do on these standardized tests. So it takes away, I think, the actual education by the teacher in the classroom, because they're kind of just teaching rote memorization things so that they can do well on the tests. So all that to say, we need to push education down to the classroom level and to the individual school districts, so that they can make the decisions on how they teach their kids. And I get the argument then that will be, hey, all you rich school districts are going to do great. And what about us out here in Cuyahoga County and downtown Cleveland? We're going to suffer. So I think there probably needs to be some type of a balance that says where school districts want help, we provide them help. Where school districts want to be left alone, we leave them alone.
Bob, thank you for your time. Thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Hi, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed getting to hear the candidates speak for themselves. Please check out the other interviews in the series. More will be on the way soon. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends for more content like this. It helps support local journalism and keeps you informed on what's going on in Greene County. If you would like to see a candidate interview or a subject in local politics covered, leave a comment below. We can't make any promises, but we would love to hear your suggestions. Thanks.